you're the kind of solopreneur who knows that she's destined for bigger things, that her business is destined to have a much bigger impact, then you're going to want to watch this video as I share 3 things on how you can build a confident personal brand so that you can meet and fulfill your potential. First things first, what's your purpose? What's your purpose? Why are you doing what you are doing? What impact does what you are doing have on your life, your business, the lives of your clients and customers? And what about the world as a whole? What's your purpose? The truth is, we all do have a purpose, and some of us are more connected to that purpose than others because we have done the work, the inner work. But once you've done that, once you've connected with your purpose, can you honestly say that you are going to the ends of the earth and putting yourself out there with confidence, connecting with the right audience? As a specialist women's portrait photographer who's done headshots and personal branding shoots for thousands of women over the years, I've seen how our own insecurities can hold us back. Our own self-identity can stop us from truly showing up in the biggest, best possible way. And when we're shying away from the limelight of online marketing, we're actually being very selfish. There are people out there who need us to show up in our unique way and do the thing that we do because that's the way that it connects with them. By us not showing up, they miss out. That's why I believe personal branding is so important for us solopreneurs and creative entrepreneurs. And at the end of the day, I want to see all of us stepping up confidently and transparently, doing it in a real way. Because when you do that, you inspire another solopreneur to do the same thing. A rising tide lifts all boats. We all benefit. The more you build your personal brand, the more people you can reach, the more you can grow your business, and the more impact you can have on your life, their lives, and the world at large. So if you're ready to fulfill your purpose, then grab a pencil because I'm going to share a couple of pointers for you to help build a confident personal brand. So the first thing to consider when building a confident personal brand is about your digital strategy. The reality is that the modern personal brand happens mostly in the online space these days. And you just have to look at the thickness and the thinness of magazines and newspapers to see that that's true. So when it comes to what you put out there in the online space, you have to have a strategy. You have to know what are the kinds of things that you're sharing. What is the tonality of the things that you're sharing? What are the digital assets that you're sharing? So your photos or your imagery or videos. What are the things that make your brand memorable? You also need to know when and how often you're going to be sharing your content in the online space so that you can stick with it and you can be consistent and you can build the trust of your audience. The second thing to consider is that personal branding doesn't just happen in the online space. It also happens in real life, IRL. You're meeting people at networking events, you're dealing with clients on a face-to-face basis, you're having coffee with suppliers and vendors. Every time you do that, you are either strengthening or weakening your personal brand. So how can you make sure that you strengthen your personal brand every time you interact with somebody in real life? Well, first of all, how are you showing up physically? So appearance, it is part of the communication process, whether you like it or not. The way you style your hair, do your makeup, the way you dress, all of that is communicating something about who you are. Whether you conform or not to modern trends is your decision completely. It's a personal decision. But as long as the one rule is that it's an intentional decision, that you're making a conscious choice and you're not just slapping things on because you'd get arrested if you walked outside naked. Personal branding in the real life space is also about how you make people feel when they engage with you. Are you friendly? Are you warm? Are you welcoming? Or are you stern and cold and standoffish? It's also about your physical branding, so business cards or your products or services. What is something physical that people can tangibly feel? The third and most important aspect to consider when it comes to your personal brand is about your identity, your self-identity. And to be able to inject that identity into the online space and into the real life space, you have to be clear about who you are. That means doing inner work. That means doing the personal development stuff. integrating that into your business growth. Personal growth goes hand in hand. And when you've got clarity on who you are, what your aspirations are, what your strengths and weaknesses are, what your likes and dislikes are, that's when you can inject all of that into your messaging and you can communicate that with every interaction that you have. But ultimately, it comes down to how you perceive yourself, your self-identity. If you don't see yourself as a confident solopreneur or a confident entrepreneur, nobody else is going to see you that way. You've got to do the self-identity work. And that, my friend, is a daily exercise. Now, I want to help you with your intentional identity because I see it time and time again when a client walks into my studio, 9 times out of 10, they tell me that they're not photogenic, that they hate being photographed. I get it. It's uncomfortable, and having a photo shoot is an acute realization of how you actually see yourself. It brings to the surface all your insecurities. And that's why I've created a guided visualization for my clients so that they can see themselves confident in front of the camera before they're actually in front of the camera. And I want to give this to you today free of charge so that you too can start stepping out there in front of the camera so that you can create your personal brand and so that you can connect with a wider audience and have a bigger impact, and so that you can fill that all-important purpose and potential. So whether you're booking a personal branding shoot with me or another photographer, get your hands on that guided visualization in the link down below and begin to see yourself confidently.